A lot of buyers come to Summit County thinking they want Breckenridge, and then they discover Silverthorne. Better access, more variety, better value in most cases, and for certain buyers, it honestly fits their lifestyle way better because Silverthorne today is so different from the Silverthorne people remember 10 years ago. So first, let's establish where we are. Right now, I'm in downtown Silverthorne, Colorado, right in the middle of Summit County. You're about an hour 15 from Denver without traffic. And yes, I know without traffic on I-70 is wishful thinking. But location-wise, this is honestly one of the best positioned towns in all of Summit County. You're roughly 20 minutes to Breckenridge, 15 minutes to Keystone, 10 to Copper, and about 30 minutes to Vail. And here's what's interesting. A lot of people still think of Silverthorne as the place they stopped for outlet shopping on the way to skiing. That's not really what this town feels like anymore. Silverthorne is not trying to be Breckenridge. And honestly, I think that's the part of why so many people are starting to love it. It feels more practical, definitely more local, more functional, and at the same time, way cooler than people expect. This whole downtown and Blue River Parkway area has changed so much. 4th Street Crossing, Bluebird Marketplace, Hotel Indigo. There's a real vision happening here now. And this is honestly one of the most active development corridors in Summit County right now. People are actually coming here on purpose now, not just driving through it. I live in Frisco and I come to Silverthorne for First Fridays all the time just to meet up with my friends. Now, one of my favorite things about this whole Silverthorne development is the way they preserve the history here. So right inside Bluebird Marketplace is the old Dillon Inn. And this place has an awesome story. Back when Denver Water flooded Old Dillon to create Dillon Reservoir back in the 1960s, they literally moved that building here to Silverthorne on a flatbed truck. And supposedly, bartenders were serving drinks in the new location that same day. Like, how cool is that? Now, the building eventually closed for years, but instead of tearing it down, Bluebird Marketplace was built around it and brought it back to life. And honestly, I think that says a lot about Silverthorne because this town is evolving fast and it still feels connected to its history. The Mint Building is one of the oldest buildings in Summit County. It started as a saloon back in the mining days, moved a couple times over the years, and now it sits right here in the middle of all this newer development. Old and new, literally side by side. And personally, I love that because some mountain towns lose all their character when they grow. Silverthorne still feels authentic to me. Also here in downtown Silverthorne, you've got the Theater Silco that's here for community events. There's concerts at the Pavilion, First Fridays, and honestly, the town just feels more alive than it used to. And Bluebird River Parkway itself has become a real gathering place. You've got people biking, walking dogs, fly fishing, on the river, grabbing coffee. It actually feels like a town now instead of just a highway exit, and that is a huge shift. Silverthorne is probably the most practical mountain town in Summit County. You've got Target, Lowe's, the Rec Center, City Market, REI, Petco. Those are technically in Dillon, but just a few minutes up the road. You've got the hospital, easy access in Frisco nearby. You've got the outlet spread across 3 separate villages around the I-70. Under Armour, Columbia, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, J. Crew, Banana Republic, just to name a few. And look, it's not glamorous, but when you actually own a place up here, it matters. You're not driving 75 miles to Denver every time you need clothes or house stuff or you forgot something for the weekend. And honestly, Silverthorne's food and coffee scene has gotten really good too. Red Buffalo Coffee and Tea is one of those places that locals just genuinely love. Locally owned, right on the river, open since 2009, and for a lot of people, it's their first stop every morning. Right next door is Enza's Deli and Market for breakfast, lunch, espresso. Very local, super casual, right here on the river. Sauce on the Blue is a great casual dinner spot right along the river. And then Bistro North over in Dillon, technically like 3 minutes away, but very much part of this whole Silverthorne Dillon world, is honestly one of the best dinner spots in Summit County. Reservation worthy, globally inspired menu, and the kind of place that surprises people who weren't expecting that level of food in a mountain town. That's actually one of the reasons people end up loving Silverthorne once they live here. It has the mountain access that everybody wants, but also enough real life conveniences so that day-to-day living is just easier. And this is exactly why I spend so much time helping buyers compare towns in addition to comparing properties, because the right town honestly matters just as much as the house itself. Your lifestyle, the drive times, your rental goals, even how much sun your neighborhood gets in the winter can completely change your experience here. If you're trying to narrow down where in Summit County actually fits best for you, reach out to me anytime. That's the kind of stuff that I help people sort through with every single day. Okay, now let's talk about the weather, honestly, because mountain living is amazing, but people definitely romanticize parts of it. Silverthorne sits at just under 8,800 feet. So yes, winter is real here. Snowstorms, icy roads, long winters, and if you're planning to drive up every Friday night from Denver during ski season, you need to understand what I-70 can look like. Friday afternoons and Sunday afternoons can absolutely just get really rough. But here's what surprises people. Colorado winters here are actually really sunny. You can literally ski in a t-shirt in March. The sun here is intense at altitude, and honestly, with the low humidity, that changes the whole feel of winter compared to what a lot of people imagine. I honestly go out backcountry skiing when it's 15 degrees out and sunny, and it's actually fine. And remember, I came from Hawaii, so that's really saying something. And summer here. Summer is honestly magical. 75-degree days, cool nights, no humidity, wildflowers everywhere. This is the time of year where people visit for a long weekend and then suddenly start browsing Zillow at midnight. I've seen it happen so many times. Fall is incredible too. The aspens usually peak around mid-September, and it's honestly one of the prettiest times of the year here. Spring is kind of the quiet local season. Mud season is real, but honestly, it's also when you get to see what a mountain town is like without that vacation filter. Quieter streets, local restaurants are breathing again, and a slower pace that people either love or they realize it's just not for them. Okay, this is a section where people usually start seriously considering moving here. The recreation access here is honestly ridiculous. Dillon Reservoir is right next door, and you can bike there on the rec path from Silverthorne. You've got sailing, paddleboarding, kayaking, fishing, biking around the lake. The views are spectacular. And one of the biggest advantages of Silverthorne specifically, you're not tied to just one ski resort. You have easy access to all of them. You've got Loveland, Keystone, Eight Basin, Breckenridge, Copper, Vail. So if one mountain gets better snow, you just go there. There are definitely storms that come through that they'll just dump powder on Eight Basin or Keystone, and Breck just misses out. That's the big advantage of living in Silverthorne. You've always got options. And that flexibility is honestly underrated. Mountain biking here is incredible too. You've got the Salt Lick Trail system right here above town. There's amazing hiking access, Eagle's Nest Wilderness, hikes to Lily Pad Lake. And honestly, one of my favorite things about Summit County is how quickly you can go from town to actual wilderness. Not a park, not a paved trail, actual wilderness with wildlife. A home I sold recently was nestled among aspen trees, and you felt like you were in the middle of wilderness with a hiking and cross-country ski trail that was literally on the edge of the property. Yet you were 5 minutes up the hill from downtown Silverthorne and all the shopping and dining that the town has to offer. And if you're fly fishermen, the Blue River running right through Silverthorne is gold medal water. People literally travel specifically here to fish this river. And honestly, guys, I just want you to know, I'm not making these videos for fun. I'm making them because I know people like you are trying to make really big decisions here. Second homes, legacy properties, investment properties, potential retirement homes. Summit County can get complicated really fast. Different neighborhoods have different short-term rental rules. Each town feels completely different, and some areas just work way better for rentals. Some work way better for full-time living. So if you're seriously considering buying here, just give me a call, text me, send me an email. I would genuinely love to help you figure out not just the right property, but the right fit for your goals. So let's just have a conversation. Now, here's the things that brochures usually don't tell you. First, I-70 traffic is real. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Powder days, holidays, summer weekends, it can get absolutely frustrating. But locals know the rhythms, the back routes, the timing, and the specific apps that you absolutely need to have and check on your phone before you head out onto I-70. And honestly, that local knowledge matters way more than people realize. And winter driving here is something people should take really seriously. Don't assume your rental car has proper tires, and don't assume all-wheel drive automatically makes you invincible. Also, here's something people don't realize. Silverthorne sits lower than Breckenridge. You'll often see less snow accumulation in the town while the resorts are getting dumped on. And honestly, some buyers love that, especially people who don't necessarily want to shovel 3 feet of snow every weekend. Now, let's talk about some of the different neighborhoods in Silverthorne because there's actually a lot to choose from. This first neighborhood is for the buyer who wants walkability, convenience, and short-term rental potential. This whole downtown corridor is ideal for buyers who want to be in the middle of everything. Restaurants, coffee shops, river access, events, bike paths, and for a mountain town, walkability like this is actually pretty rare. Most of the real estate here is condos, townhomes, mixed-use developments, lock and leave second home style properties, which honestly works really well for a lot of buyers. You have no yard maintenance, no major snow removal, easy ownership. Now this area falls into Area 2 for Silverthorne short-term rental licensing. So if Airbnb or VRBO income matter to you, this is one of the better areas in town to focus on. Now, obviously rules can change and caps apply, which is why I always tell buyers not to rely on Zillow descriptions that talk about rental income. Now, short-term rental licenses do not transfer with a property. That matters a lot. Now, pricing here can range from the low to mid 600s for smaller condos into the million to 1.3 million range for larger, newer units. And compared to Breckenridge pricing, honestly, you can get a lot more for your money here. And this is exactly why you want somebody helping you understand the short-term rental maps before you buy, because literally being on the wrong side of the street can completely change your rental options. Now, if you want more space, bigger mountain views, and homes that feel like true Colorado mountain homes, this next area gets really interesting. As you drive north from the downtown area, you'll find neighborhoods like Willowbrook, Three Peaks, Eagle's Nest, and Angler Mountain Ranch. And honestly, these are some of the prettiest parts of Silverthorne. This is where Silverthorne starts feeling much more residential. You've got single-family homes, larger townhomes, garages, quieter streets, and incredible Gore Range views. So, Willowbrook tends to be one of the more approachable neighborhoods price-wise in the whole section of Silverthorne. You've got a lot more full-time locals living here. Families, people who work in Summit County year-round. There's a neighborhood park down at the bottom of the neighborhood. It's got a more community feel, and honestly, it feels very lived in a really good way. You'll see older single-family homes, updated mountain homes, duplexes, some townhomes, and for buyers who want to feel like they're actually part of a real mountain community instead of just surrounded by vacation homes, Willowbrook can be a really great fit. Pricing here is generally more attainable than some of the luxury neighborhoods higher up the mountain. And honestly, for a lot of buyers, this becomes a sweet spot because you can still get space, garages, and mountain living without immediately jumping into the ultra luxury pricing. But then you start climbing higher into Three Peaks and Eagle's Nest, and the vibe changes fast. This is where Silverthorne starts feeling much more luxury oriented. Three Peaks and Eagle's Nest have some absolutely incredible homes. You'll see larger custom homes with huge Gore Range views, big windows, timber beams, heated driveways, the kind of classic luxury mountain architecture buyers picture in their heads. And you'll notice pretty quickly that there's a lot more second homeowners up here. It feels quieter, a little more private, a little more tucked away from the downtown energy. Three Peaks especially has become really popular with luxury buyers because of the golf course, the views, and the overall feel of the neighborhood. And honestly, some of the views up here are unreal, like the kind of views where people walk into a house and just stop talking for a second. Eagle's Nest also has that elevated luxury mountain home feel with larger home sites and incredible access to hiking and wilderness areas all nearby. And compared to luxury pricing in Vail or certain parts of Breckenridge, some of these homes honestly feel like really compelling value for what you're getting. Angler Mountain Ranch is on the other side of the highway and has this really cool mix of duplexes and single-family homes. And one of the defining features here is the private pond and Blue River access running right through the community. It gives the neighborhood this really peaceful mountain ranch feel that buyers tend to fall in love with pretty quickly. In the lower section of Angler Mountain Ranch, you've got some really attractive duplexes and newer homes that work great for second homeowners and lock and leave buyers. But then as you climb higher up the mountain, the homes get very impressive. Huge luxury homes, massive views, some of the best Gore Range panoramas anywhere in Silverthorne. And yes, the pricing climbs pretty dramatically up there too. But honestly, for buyers wanting a true luxury mountain home experience near Breckenridge without Breckenridge pricing, this area gets a lot of attention. Now, these neighborhoods fall into Area 1 for short-term rental regulations here in Silverthorne. Now, there is a cap on licenses and availability is a lot more limited than Area 2. And as of today, there is a very limited number of licenses still available. And you still need to check the HOA restrictions as well. But honestly, buyers here are not leading primarily with short-term rental income. They're buying for lifestyle, the space, the views, garages, privacy, quality of life. This is one of my favorite parts of Silverthorne to show people because it really surprises them. A lot of buyers simply don't realize Silverthorne has neighborhoods like this until they actually drive through them. And honestly, this is why I always tell buyers they need to come visit and learn the neighborhoods first, because two homes that look similar online can feel completely different once you understand where they sit inside Silverthorne. Now, pricing for this whole area can range from the mid-800s for townhomes, 900s up to $2 million range for single-family homes and duplexes, all the way up to multi-million-dollar range for luxury custom homes. And compared to Vail or some parts of Breckenridge, I cannot even imagine getting some of these views and homes for these prices anywhere nearby. Okay, if you've been wanting a newer luxury mountain community with amenities and a really cohesive feel, this one might completely win you over. Summit Sky Ranch is one of the newer luxury communities in the county with a more mountain modern feel. And honestly, it's gorgeous. And what I really like about this neighborhood is it feels intentional. It doesn't feel random. Everything about it was designed around lifestyle, private lakes, fishing access, clubhouse, pool, hot tubs, community trails. The amenities are amazing. And the homes feel cohesive in a way that's actually pretty rare in Summit County. They tend to have a cleaner contemporary design style and mixed in with a forested setting and some with big Gore Range and mountain views depending on the location within the neighborhood. A lot of our neighborhoods evolved over the decades, so architecture can vary all over the place. This just feels more curated. Summit Sky Ranch falls into Area 2 for short-term rental regulations, so more licenses are available, which is another reason that buyers pay a lot of attention to it. And the nightly rental potential here in some of these homes can absolutely be pretty significant. But honestly, most buyers here are also planning to use the property themselves a lot. Pricing here generally starts around $1.7 million and climbs quickly, depending on the views and the size. But compared to some luxury mountain communities nearby, the value proposition here with a wide array of community amenities is honestly really compelling. This last neighborhood completely changes a lot of people's idea of what affordable mountain real estate can look like. So Wilderness and the Cortina area sit above Silverthorne on the hillside leading up Buffalo Mountain. And when you drive up here, it feels noticeably more removed from town. More quiet, more surrounded by trees, more like you're actually living in the mountains instead of right next to the interstate. Many homes are surrounded by pine and aspen trees with trail access everywhere. And a lot of condos and townhomes up here have incredible views looking out over Lake Dillon and the Gore Range. And honestly, for some buyers, this is exactly what they wanted when they pictured owning in the mountains. One of the coolest things about Wilderness is the access to Eagle's Nest Wilderness. You can literally leave your neighborhood or hike or bike directly into the wilderness. And that's pretty special special. Now, this is the most important, really, really important. This area is unincorporated Summit County. It is not a part of the town of Silverthorne, even though they have a Silverthorne address. So the short-term rental rules here are completely different. Different licensing process, different caps, different regulations. And this is why I always tell buyers, don't assume short-term rentals are the same everywhere just because the mailing address says Silverthorne. Pricing here gives buyers one of the most approachable entry points into Summit County. You can still find condos, townhomes, duplexes, some single-family homes at prices that feel much harder to find in Breckenridge. And honestly, some of the views from Wilderness are really incredible. So, who is Silverthorne actually best for? Honestly, I think Silverthorne works really well for buyers who want balance. You want skiing, but you also want practicality. You want mountain lifestyle, but maybe not the chaos of being directly inside a resort town. You want options, and Silverthorne gives you a lot of options. You can find entry-level condos, short-term rental-focused properties, luxury golf homes, newer master plan communities, full-time residences, lock and leave second homes. And this is honestly one of my favorite things about Silverthorne. It just feels a little more approachable than some of the other mountain towns. It's a little less polished, a little more real, a little more local, a little easier to actually live in. And for a lot of buyers, that ends up being exactly what they wanted all along. Now, if you're trying to decide between Silverthorne and Frisco specifically, you need to watch this next video, because even though they're only a few minutes apart, they feel completely different in terms of lifestyle, vibe, and pricing. Check out this video right here and I'll break all that down for you. I'll meet you there.